Hello. Peace, blessings, love, and light. It's your girl, Damali Got a D. Um, and I'm finally uploaded the last two episodes of Young, Famous, and African. So this is episode 7, right? We're season 3, episode 7. Something's cooking. You know, I have my handy dandy notes. So what's interesting is I had already started this and I meant to upload this before. But anyway, we're here now, right? Something's cooking. So it picks up from the last episode. Naked visits Nadia to apologize. Um, because as we know, Nadia went to Naked's event. Well, it was hosted by Naked, but it was for Annie, right? And she felt like the way she was invited was it was shady, and rightfully so. So he went and he went to go comfort her, well, at least like apologize, like I said, because when Nadia went off, she mentioned, she's going through it as well. She's grieving her partner's death, murder, right? But she doesn't go off using that as an excuse for why she is not a nice person or why she is acting out of character. Naked also shares that his ex-wife recently passed away, so now we have a little insight as to maybe why this is affecting his ability to move forward with Kaylee, even though before this woman passed and God rest her soul, he was already with the cold feet. But I just wanted to say maybe that could also play a role. Kaylee and Zari talk about possibly moving. Zari says she wants this for Kaylee. Fontana and Diamond are made for each other. So, um, these two, I feel like when it comes to their scenes, I don't even, they both get on my nerves. It's just, but they understand each other. So it's like when people who get on the outsider's nerves can see that somehow that dysfunction works for them, you just step aside because a sane mind has no business trying to be with the insane. I just don't. Um, and he invites Zari, Naked, and Kaylee over. Zari says at least Annie cooks, and he does. um, so then Quentin slash Naked, that's what I put in the notes, confronts Kaylee about her doing her own thing. Um, because of the whole moving and her having conversations that she's not staying necessarily if he doesn't seem to really care whether she stays or leave, which is why Zari says she wants this for Kaylee. Shout out to her. And let me see. I agree with any. If he doesn't want to be married, Kaylee is barking up the wrong tree. Basically, nobody wants to feel like they're forced to do something. For example, right? It's like when your parent tells you, "Oh, eat your vegetables because they're good for you." You don't want to be forced to do it. You want to eat it because that's your choice, your personal choice. But the outside world can see that even though Quentin may have strong feelings for Kaylee, it's not enough for him to want to jump the broom with her. Okay? We call those people place fillers because it doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong with the person. It just means that the person just doesn't have those strong feelings enough to really give make a strong commitment to the connection. Okay? So those are things to consider whether you're Kaylee, Quentin, whoever it is watching this, um, it shouldn't feel forced and if it just don't work, it just doesn't. Okay? Let me see. I agree with Zari. Kaylee needs to listen to her intuition. So one thing that we all do, men, women, whatever you categorize yourself as, um, we don't always listen to that gut feeling, even though the person may not personally attack us or purposely stab you, but you feel that something is off, right? There is clearly something off with Kaylee's connection to Quentin. Whether that's the fact that he was divorced twice, whether that's because his ex-wife recently passed, um, there could be a variety of reasons. But the point is something is off and Kaylee needs to follow her gut. Because if everything is telling her she needs to consider keeping her own space or having her own space, she needs to have her own space. And to be honest with you, if we're looking at the way things are now, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, let's take for example Shirley Ralph, right? It was put out there that her husband is in, what is it, Philly, and she's in California. For some people, that works. I'm not saying that that's the arrangement that Quentin and Kaylee need to have, or that any of you need to have, or anything like that. But I'm saying that I don't want to come across so negative where I'm like, just severed everything. Because one shoe doesn't fit all sizes. So it could be that there is some love there, but maybe they shouldn't really live together. And if they do live together, there needs to be space that's just dedicated to them individually. You know how they have she sheds and stuff like that. She's a soccer player. She's into music. I'm sure they could figure out a way, and she doesn't seem um like someone unbearable. She seems very sweet and someone that you could work with, which is why I think that he's why I think she do need to listen to her intuition. If you know that you are not this pest that someone's making you out to be because they're not ready to deal with the strength and warmth of your love, your energy, your presence, then that's not you don't have to apologize for your own existence. They're just not, it just doesn't align. Let me see. Louis goes on a hunt for a surrogate and invites Innie and Shakib. Innie was upset and left. Shakib doesn't think this is the way. I really like Shakib. I don't think this is the way. Fantana finally agrees she's just like Diamond and says she's watching herself. Did I tell you that they get on? She was like, oh, I mean, I do this to other guys. So, I do the same thing, but with other guys. So it was like, when I see him, I'm like, I'm seeing me. I'm like, girl, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. That's why she's not really surprised at how he acts. I just think that it's fun for her. And I think that I don't know how many people she knows out there, but he's probably one of the few gentlemen that she feels comfortable engaging with. Not everybody wants to have a roster or whatever. So maybe Diamond just checked these boxes. He got money, he's resourceful, he's in the continent, and we know that she's American born, but she what was it? She stays in the continent. I said a continent because there are several countries on the continent, and I don't know which country she might be at the time. Okay? I'm trying to be respectful here. Shout out to everybody in the continent. Yes, 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 yes. And I want to say happy Ramadan to those that are celebrating it and fasting. Um Here's a little enjoyment for you. You know what I'm saying? While you're fasting, watch this review. I love my Muslim friends. A very interesting bunch. And that's not even to be offensive. I feel like the community gets these some negative stereotypes, but for the most part, when you're like engaged and you're around it, it's just like any other community. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. Let me see. Nadia invites everyone but Annie to apologize for possibly coming off as a hypocrite. Um, and this stood out to me when Louis said, Nadia is self-aware and she's intelligent. And I think those are the things that make Nadia such a beautiful soul. Like I feel the shivers right now when just thinking about her. She is so real, she is so raw, and she is authentic. That's a real one right there for you. She is definitely needed on the show to provide that middle ground. Her and Kanye. Let me see. Wonderful moment. Annie and Louis makeup attempt was rocky. And then that's when we move on to the next episode. So that was pretty much it for episode 7. Something's cooking. Um I gotta upload the next thing so I see you when I see you. And I'ma see you. And with that being said, your girl is here to stay.